I know.
Bully. Bully. That's what. Bully. Okay. I'd like to call the Nash Board of Education to order for the regular board meeting. At this time, I'd like everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So move.
Second,
Motion by Mr. Edwards, second by Ms. Chavis. I will do a roll call vote. Ms. Chavis?
yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bissett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp? Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Silver? Mr.
I
Silver?
think he restarted.
Yeah, he restarted his computer.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the board minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Washington,
Second,
second by Ms. Chavis. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed likewise. We're down to recognition. Dr. Catalano.
Good evening, Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Sharp, and members of the board. We have got one recognition video for you today, and this is just recognizing all of our staff and our students who started in Plan A this Monday, actually. So Ms. Lamb has put together a video that Mr. McQueen is going to show for us.
Thank you, Dr. Catalano.
You're welcome. The public input.
Public input. Each month, a part of at least one regular scheduled board meeting will be set aside for citizens to address the board through public comment. A sign-up sheet will be available in the communications office for any individual or group to indicate their desire to address the board. The deadline is noon the day of the board meeting. Any individual or group can sign up by appearing in person or by calling the communications office. The chairperson will decide the amount of time devoted to public comments. The superintendent shall develop additional procedures to ensure that public comment sessions proceed in an efficient and orderly manner. Board members will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarifications or points made.
You are called by God to expand
Except in cases of emergency, information received during presentations will not be acted upon at the time it is received. It will take unanimous vote of the board members present to take action on the presentation considered to be an unusual or emergency nature at the time it is presented. Disruptions by any person or persons of a public meeting will be subject to action in accordance with General Statute 143-318.17. If the board does not hold a regular meeting during a month, the board will not provide a time for public comment at any other meeting held during that month unless a majority of the board votes to allow public comment at the meeting or unless the purpose of the meeting is a public hearing. Tonight, we have one presenter, Jim Lafser.
Do I go ahead and start?
Yes, sir. You have 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. My first comment would be about, are y'all aware of the stuff you're teaching the children? My scholar is in 2nd grade. He has learned in 2nd grade, we've been virtual learning. He's got basically 30 minutes for 4 days with a live teacher in math. In those 4 days, they have learned 7 different ways to add and subtract simple numbers. Now, 7 different ways to add and subtract simple numbers. It has taken them from the start of school all the way up to now to get to the 7th way, to add simple numbers like 13 minus 11 or 13 plus 11. It's crazy. He learned the bunny hop. He learned the arrow method. He learned the happy numbers method. He learned the make a 10 number method. And on a test, he has to repeat the exact method or it's wrong. He can't just add and subtract. That's crazy. The second thing I want to talk about is they're finally going back to school, and I thank y'all for that. It's about a year too late. Private schools have been back. We should have been back. They're going back wearing these silly masks. These silly masks are useless. Dr. Fauci said in the beginning of this pandemic that masks do not do a thing for viruses. Then he became almighty and said, you got to wear a mask. But he could not state why or give any reason why. Before Congress last week, he testified and they asked him to give proof that masks work. He could not. As I watch y'all on the screen right now, I've seen many of y'all touch your masks. That's how the virus spreads. The mask makes a nice warm environment for the virus. Then you take your hands with the virus and you touch your face. That's how the virus spreads. So making these kids wear a mask is useless. As a matter of fact, it's counterproductive. The last thing I'd like to state is I've written several emails to my representative. I think I'm in section 5. I think it's Bill Sharp. He hadn't responded to a single one. I was asking legitimate questions about school and things like that. I did write one to the chairman of this board. He responded. So I think either my person is either overworked, unqualified, or just don't care. I appreciate your time.
Business items, donations, Dr. Catalano.
Good evening, Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Sharp, Dr. Ellis, and members of the board. We have 5 donations this evening for a total of $72,571.01. Southern Nash Middle School received a donation from Tech Terra Education. They donated a 3-doodler 3D pen, classroom set of pens with filament and templates valued at $15,000 to be used for their Media Center STEM program. Nashville Elementary School received a donation from Cummins, who donated benches and shade structures valued at $2,500 to be used for an outdoor classroom in the community garden. Nash Central High School received a donation from C.W. Williams and Company They donated fire turnout gear valued at $43,000 to be used for the fire program at Nash Central High School. Williford Family Resource Center received a donation from Communities in Schools. The donation was in the amount of $10,000 to be used for a mobile outdoor movie theater setup. And last but not least, Nash County Public Schools received a donation from Walmart. They donated school supplies valued at $2,071.01 to be distributed to the Academics and Accountability, or by the Academics and Accountability Department. The superintendent recommends approval of these donations as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Silver, second by Ms. Washington, I think.
Mhm.
All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Visit?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
yes,
Motion carried. Technical correction to policy 1000. Dr. Catalano.
Yes, this is an item, it's a change that Dr. Ellis actually approved pursuant to policy 2440, which gives the superintendent the authority to make technical policy changes that are required by state law. The changes were effective immediately when he approved them, and they just need to be ratified by the board. The change was just to policy 1000. We had to remove the word "the" from the title of the Board of Education. So we had the Nash Board of Education within parentheses. We had to take the out of it. The superintendent requests approval and ratification as presented.
Entertain a motion to adopt the technical correction to policy 1000. Motion by
So
Mr.
moved.
Bennett, second by Mr. Sharp. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Visit?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Mr. L. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
yes,
Motion carried unanimous. Personnel recommendations, Ms. Sheila Wallace.
Good evening again, Chairman Lamb, Vice Chair Sharp, and virtual board members. The personnel report has been presented and reviewed. On behalf of Superintendent Ellis, your approval of the personnel report is requested.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by- Who was the second by?
Donovan.
Excuse me. Motion by Mr. Silver, second by Ms. Chavis. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Visit?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
yes,
Thank you. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got the personnel recommendations for information only. Administrative Services and Operations Committee, Chairman Sharp. Budget calendar,
Mr. Chair, we had a meeting earlier to discuss the budget calendar, and we'd like to suggest that we approve the budget calendar when we went over. As a matter of fact, can we just do all these items at one time, Mr. Chair, to save us some time? There's, I think, about 5 of them. With the exception of the Nash Community College one, we'll do that separately.
okay? We'll do the budget calendar, budget amendments, school nutrition procurement plan, and Red Oak Elementary School finance and construction. I will entertain a motion to approve those.
ABC Science Collaborative as well, Mr. Chair. Oh, that was information. Never mind, that was information.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the four.
So moved.
Motion by Ms.
Second.
Chavis, second by Mr. Dunn. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bizzett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Now we're down to the NCC Board of Trustees reappointment.
Yes.
Dr. Milano.
So that was also brought up in committee. I think he wanted to separate that out because there wanted to be some discussion about it.
Yes, ma'am. So one of the things we talked about was Mr. Chair received a letter from the chair for the Board of Trustees for Nash Community College making a recommendation that we resubmit Mary Wells. And Mr. Chair, if you could read that for us, we'd be greatly appreciative.
Okay. I received this letter March 30th. So, dear Mr. Lamb, please accept this letter supporting the reappointment of Ms. Mary Wells to the Nash Community College Board of Trustees. Ms. Wells' present term expires on June 30th, 2021, and she has indicated a desire to continue serving. Ms. Wells has served on the board since 2013 and presently serves on the Finance and Personnel Committees. With her background and experience, she is an invaluable asset to the Board of Trustees. Ms. Wells' continued service will strengthen the positive work relationship the college already enjoys with the Nash County Public School System. As chairman, I am grateful for Ms. Wells' willingness to volunteer on this board. Please feel free to contact me should you need additional information. Thank you for your support and consideration. Sincerely, C.E. Sonny Foster, Chair, Board of Trustees, Nash Community College.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that. With that said, we did have a discussion around that today, and I want to have that discussion with this board. That basically it was I think it was 3-1 vote to receive that nomination or that approval. I declined that for the specific reason because I want to bring this board to have a discussion around it. Since Mr. Mitchell, who's our attorney, has informed us that we cannot have a board member of the education system sitting on that trustee board, I had to rescind my thinking behind that. So I'm going to rescind that no for a yay. But the question is, what I like to get from the board is, I like for us to be more participative when it comes to selecting the person who's going to serve on that panel. So I would like to have a discussion with the board chair of Nash Community College, as well as the president, to find out what are their guidelines they use for selecting people for those seats. And if at all, maybe the board could consider that and maybe make recommendations to the Board of Trustees, someone that they will be interested in serving on that committee to represent us.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to present or approve Mary Wells as representative. Motion is by Mr. Bizzett.
Second.
Second by Mr. Edwards. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bizzett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes, I'd have discussion at the end on Mr. Chair.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
Definitely yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. L. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if it's in conjunction with the board, I'd like to set up a meeting or discussion with the Nash Community College as well as the Board of Trustee Chair to talk about their selection process in choosing candidates for this role.
Yes.
Okay.
We can talk with them when we have the joint budget presentation, probably.
Not the county commissioners, but the board of trustees.
Okay,
That's a separate, different entities.
all right. ABC,
The college doesn't, we appoint them.
we appoint them, right?
It's not the college, they don't select them.
They recommend them.
I think
Yeah.
Mr. Schultz want to know about their process and with their
Thank you.
timing and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when they select, they give us names and we just approve the names. I think we should probably a little bit more engage in it since they're representing the Board of Education. There may be someone that one of us have a desire to want to serve on that committee or on that board to represent this board. I just want to get a feel for them, who their takes are and how they go through that process.
All right, thank you. Taking
Mr.
under
Chair,
consideration-
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? We've done this. Ms. Wells has been our representative for years now. I mean, we
it
can't,
was just a discussion. It was, the motion has been passed unanimously with on number 6, ABC Science Collaborative, Dr. Catalano.
thank you.
Wake up, Ricky.
And the ABC Science Collaborative was for information only. I don't know, do we need to accept that for information? Okay.
That was good.
Student Services and Operations Committee, Ms. Washington. We had the COVID-19 update.
We had one item for information only. The COVID-19 updates.
Okay,
It wasn't an approval item.
right. Well, we're down to Academic Services and Accountability. We had the testing updates from Ms. Griffin, Summer Scholars Academy, Summer Learning Update, Ms. Melissa Nancy Smith, K3 class size waiver. We need to approve that. I will entertain a motion to approve the class size waiver. Motion by Mr. Bizzett, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Silver. All in favor? Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bizzett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Class of 2021 commencement, that was for information only, presented by Mr. Thompson. Any questions? Policy Committee, Ms. Bullock, PLS policy update.
We have a few policies that we have presented to us that were just to update references. And so I will turn it over to Dr. Catalano to talk about those. And then we had one policy that we had for changing the wording, and that's policy 3460. And once we get to that one, when Dr. Catalano finish talking about that one, then I will ask for a motion to approve that policy and waive the 30-day wait period. Dr. Catalano?
Okay, so the School Board Association policies, there were 5 of them. As Ms. Bullock said, they had minor changes to the legal references, and we're requesting those be approved for the first read and sit for 30 days for final approval at the May meeting.
And I make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Bullock, second by Ms. Washington. All in favor, Ms. Chavis?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bizzett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And the second policy update is a temporary change for this school year only to adjust the graduation requirements in the same way that we adjusted them last year. The policy committee did approve that temporary change, and the policy committee is recommending approval as presented and to waive the 30-day waiting period so that we can move forward with that.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve policy 3460 graduation requirements and waive the 30 days for this policy.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Bullock,
Second. Second.
second by Mr. Dunton. All in favor, Ms. Chavis,
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Bissett?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Dunton?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins? Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. E. Bullock?
Yes.
Ms. S. Bullock?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, Dr. Catalano.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Righty, good evening. Just want to thank all staff members for the great reopening. I think it's like the third time we've reopened, but they did a great job. We're in Plan A now. It was nice to see that video, to see students in the building, and it was a heavy lift for our group, but I just want to thank the efforts from the board, their support, and the staff members of Nash County Public Schools. So thank you. Just wanted to go over some upcoming events. In May, we'll be starting a new recognition program. It's going to be called #NCPS Hero. We'll be recognizing and highlighting staff members and students in the district. And just so happened, I have something that just came out that I want to recognize this group. It is Miss Jackson at Cooper's Elementary. Her students won an award, a video contest. It says, "Congratulations to the winner in our America Is video contest. Students from across the country submitted original videos celebrating America the beautiful, and voters picked. And the top class they picked in the nation was Cooper's Elementary and Miss Jackson. So I want to give a shout out to Miss Jackson's class. We're going to post that video because it was absolutely wonderful. So thank you for that, and glad to be in Plan A. Thank you.
Thank you for the chair's report. I hope, and my wishes are the May 3rd meeting will be in person. If we expect our children and teachers to be back in school, then we ought to be able to have a board meeting in person. That's all. Schedule of upcoming meetings, important.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
before you move to the next item, may I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I was present at the meeting earlier, and I was really excited about being able to come to the meeting. I've had my vaccinations, and I looked forward to coming to the meeting. However, because some of us don't wear our masks, I left. And I left simply because the executive order that the governor passed states that if you are not a part of someone's household, regardless of the distance, when you are in a public meeting indoors, you are required to wear your mask. And unless this board is willing to follow the rules, then I'm not coming to a public meeting where people don't wear their masks. I value my health more than that. So before you make a determination that the meeting will be in person on March 3rd, I wish that you would talk to our board members so that they will see the necessity of following the law and wearing a mask. Because if we are not wearing masks, I won't be present.
Thank you, Ms. Bullock.
You don't have to come.
I don't have to come, but I have to represent the constituents that elected me, and I will do just that. And as you choose, or whoever that was that said that, if you choose not to wear a mask, that's on you. I choose to wear a mask. I choose not to be in the company of people who refuse to wear a mask. And besides that, it's the law. And if we expect our people to follow the law, then we ought to as well.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I hear the sentiments of Ms. Bullock, and I concur. It's our responsibility to be role models for the example we're supposed to set. Whether we agree or disagree, it's all about being that role model we're called to be.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Education, the special call meeting, Tuesday, April 27th at 6 o'clock. Joint meeting with Nash County Commissioners, Thursday, April 29th at 6 o'clock. May Administrative Services and Operation Committee meeting, May 3rd at 5. May Student Services and Operations Committee meeting, May 3rd at 5:30. Academic Services and Accountability meeting, May 3rd at 6. May work session at 6:30. May board meeting, May 3rd at 7 o'clock. I will entertain a motion to adjourn at this time. Motion by Mr. Bissett,
Second.
second by Mr. Edwards. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. I would like to thank Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Adam Mitchell, for sitting in for Rob Malone tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Chair, Mr. Chair.
With you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, before we close, I just like to say I would ask that the board please remember the family of Carlos Ricks, a deputy sheriff that was just passed, had his funeral arrangements just the other day. Carlos has served this district extremely well. So he's been doing a lot. And so just remember his family as they go through this time of bereavement for him.
Thank you. This time I will adjourn the board meeting. Thank you.